I would love to hear an update on the Bacalar project. I'm going to head down to Mexico again soon, so I would love to hear the latest.
The latest is looking very, very good indeed. So we've arrived at a very good situation with the landowner, who is a gentleman based in the United States, who gave up on his dream here for whatever his reasons are, and he's focusing on his farmlands in the United States. And I think he knows that he was unable to take forward his vision here, despite having the best piece of land imaginable on the banks of the Laguna. For those of you who don't know, the Bacalar Laguna is one of the most extraordinary geolocations on Earth, principally because it's one of 5 known locations on Earth, water sources, that contains the original blueprint of DNA. And that's partly because the whole laguna is built, it takes place over a rock bed of what is called stromatolites. This is a living coral, so to speak. So the entire laguna, in that sense, is alive, literally, and to some extent conscious as nature can be. When you go to that water and immerse yourself in it, it's life-changing, for sure. The point here is that this is conscious water. I've been looking for the last 4 or 5 years, since I met Professor Marco Ruggiero, actually, and I started to understand about the mechanics of immortality from the biological level. I now am absolutely certain in my own mind of the mechanics and the dynamics of so-called immortality. I've studied enough about the true chronology and pathology of our so-called history to now, and anthropology, to understand that we have been systemically uncoupled from our divinity at the level of our codons. So I know that the downgrading genetically of humanity that's happened over many, many cycles has rendered us now into almost a subspecies, despite the fact that we're the most powerful technology in the universe when we're activated. The fact that we were engineered and stupefied and reduced to operating on maybe 2 codons out of 12 is testament to this fact. Now, the fact of the matter is that we are the ones who can now reactivate the rest of the so-called codons. And we are the ones who can engage that flame of pure spiritual awakening by us recognizing our divinity. It's all about that. It's all about us every single day uncoupling our minds and our attention from the satanic images that are being projected onto the screen of our lives by other forces that we give permission to consistently. And I'm talking about family, familial instincts. How many of our families and family members are the ones who are influencing us negatively and inviting us to not go there, not ask those questions, don't step outside of the box? And then you've got your community, your little social circle, your friends, and the broader family at large who are also saying, you know, she's off the trolley. No, you know, that's the problem. When you care too much about the false light being reflected back to you by people who are less than you when it comes to recognizing our divinity. You must learn the art of looking at the ones you love and going, I love you, I care for you, but I'm hitting the master switch. You do not impact or imprint or influence my spiritual journey. It is such a powerful thing when you do it. You've got to uncouple from the familial programming, from the communal programming, the social, cultural, and religious programming. So everything out there is an orchestra that conspires to tell you that you are not immortal. And it started, as I've said, for the last 10 years with the Babylonian complex operating principally through all of the primary religions. And I'm talking about, obviously, false light Christianity, false light Judaism, false light Islam, false light Buddhism. They've all been corrupted, endemically corrupted, in that they have killed the mystical traditional roots of all of those faiths, and they have subverted them into a mind control agenda that says you are a dirty human, you are lowly, you need redemption, you need salvation, and the only way you can get it is through us, through the priesthood. Brilliant, fantastical in its proportion. And what's happened? Billions upon billions of souls for the last 2,000 years at least have been subverting their attention from their innate divinity and projecting their sense of lesser than into the field. When you are kneeling or you are praying or you are meditating to images in the mind, you are involved in false light worship, which is idolatry, which is the very thing that the Master Jesus warned us against. It is the very thing that Prophet Muhammad, peace upon him, warned his followers against. It's the very thing that Siddhartha Gautama Buddha, the icon, warned his people against, said never make that mistake. Because I think that the various prophets of ages were aware of the fact that once they died and left mortality, their image would simply become an explicit external image, and that would be co-opted, hijacked, and then utilized by the archonic and so-called demonic forces to mind fuck humans into one cultural or religious proclivity or another. And that's what brings us to today, where there's a handful of us. I see here tribe. I see here soul tribe. We're all connected to a frequency set at the soul level. That's why I'm talking to you. You're talking to me. We're feeding back. This is the most powerful thing in the world, for sure, is this emergent flame of true inquiry. So I love the question, but it's all about not me in the egoic form. That's diabolical. But me in the true form of Christed kinship, and recognizing that all is alive, all is vibrant under the eternal gaze of the universal sun, and that we are all conjoined by that same Spiritus Maximus. We must, however, each of us begin on a minute by minute, day by day basis to stand in that flame, take the courage and the conviction to stand in that eternal flame and behold. That's the key word here, to behold. Not to judge, not to throw stones, not to get caught up in all of the cacophony which is programmed and inviting us to get drawn into. That's the greatest mistake we can make. Because to behold is to witness without judgment, is to look out onto the screen of this temporal illusion and go, wow, the geometry is always perfect in all ways. Now, what am I learning about the divine flame? How have I projected my soul into this vector of time-space? How painful is it? How much more blissful can it become? This becomes the question. It's as Dan Winter, one of my favorite humans, says, find the bliss peak wave and surf it, because it exists within each of us. And it doesn't matter where we are. We could be stuck in some cruddy tenement block in downtown Moscow with only one pot plant, a little tomato plant in our kitchen, and cut off from all of the splendor of natural fractality. And yet we still have the alpha and the omega. You don't even need the tomato plant in point of fact. I'm going to give you guys a little example of alpha omega. And this is a science experiment that I've actually just commissioned, and I can't wait for the results. And I'm going to let this group know before anyone else. Joanne and Christy will have to make sure I don't blurb this out in the days ahead once the results come back. But listen to this. This is the fruit fly experiment. Take an apple. Take an apple. Take that apple into the middle of a desert. Take the apple up a 50-story building in the middle of that desert, like Dubai or, Jeddah. And then lock that apple inside a bread bin or in some sealed container. go away, come back in 2 weeks' time, and you'll see a decomposed apple in the container, and you'll see fruit flies all around it. Where did the fruit flies come from? We don't have the larva or the eggs of fruit flies in every apple and every strawberry and every banana and every dog biscuit. No, it's because the fruit flies manifest like that. When the pressure conditions are right, nature calls and invites the fruit fly to do its function. The seed pattern of the fruit fly is contained in the alpha omega, which is everywhere all at the same time. That's the truth of the matter. And that's because nature understands immortality, and nature understands that the seed patterns of everything coexist everywhere all at the same time in the quantum. Once we, human beings, with our incredible capacity to ideate and to project plasma, when we get that right and move back into alignment with pure natural law, we become manifestors of patterns of perfection like that. We start with self, and then we can begin to steer entire solar systems and planets. And frankly, that's what we're born to do and born to be. I don't know if that answer was too abstruse, but that's my answer.
I love it.